Hi YouTube, it's Mop Talks with Trev. I'm Trev, and this is Modern Organic Philosophy. Next album is Dissection, Reinkaos. And I have to say, this is real heavy philosophy right here. We have a geometric symbol as their cover. And this is a good indication on whether you're listening to some philosophical stuff or not. You know, is the symbolism they use. That is, the symbol literacy is the initiation into understanding this stuff. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I believe it's 11 pointed figure here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which, you know, is probably the 11 Sephirah of the Kabbalistic tree of life. And although this is darker philosophy than I'm into, you know, you look at it all. These guys are into the Klippoth, which is the dark tree. And the symbolism they use is just very deep. You know, I believe that's the Lucifer symbol at the bottom. You know, and that's, you got the trident there, which is probably the Norns, like I said earlier. You know, you got the third eye, you got the serpents. It's just like whenever you see going down the street, you see an ambulance, it has like the tree of life there because it is the symbol for health. So whether you're on a dark path or a light path, and all roads do lead to Rome, you're going to get the symbolism, and you're going to understand what they're saying. And that's where I believe they got the 11 from. That is the tree of life there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In the traditional thing, that's what they use. I started using a new tree that I found recently, which includes the 0, and we'll get into that later. But their book here is really good, and this is what you would call blackened death metal. And like the other band, Atheist, you know, starting out with a band like Dissection, you know, obviously they didn't start out being very spiritual. And although it is, you know, a darker philosophy, it is spiritual. He's, you know, it's part of the evolution. Consciousness is going to, you know, go out there and see all the different possibilities. And even though this is a, you know, a darker philosophy, I learn a lot from it. And you have to learn everything, whether it's to protect yourself from it or just to learn it in general. And that song we were just listening to is called Maha Kali. And these guys are from Sweden, Swedish blackened death metal band, Dissection. And, you know, that other band, Obscura, mentioned Shiva in some of their songs. So these guys are interested in different pantheons. They're into Kali. They call it the Dark Mother in here. And Kali, you know, Kali is the Hindu goddess with, you know, the heads and stuff. And only Shiva can get her to calm down. For me, she's the archetype of the mother that like if you mess with a mother bear's cubs, you're gonna get Kali. She's gonna be pissed. And in the Hindu pantheon, only Shiva can chill Kali out. So they see that as like a primordial thing, you know, and so it must be spiritual because it seems archetypal, you know, even though it's dark. Remember, we can't have the dark without the light. The universe will cease if it's only like the Jesus, God stuff without the devil. You have to have both. It just is how it is. So, a lot of people embrace the dark side and they say Lucifer is the light bringer. They feel like God was holding back and maybe Lucifer came and gave people some knowledge in a way. And, also Lucifer, God sent him out. He was like an angel or whatever, and he didn't want to be subservient to men. He's like, I'm way better than that. So it's an interesting way to look at it, and you have to understand the whole of the pantheon. That's the only way to do it. So this is a very philosophical album, and the music's really cool. I mean, this is a classic album right here. I had to buy it when I could because you can't always find copies of everything. You get it when you can. And this dude's actually dead now. I don't know if he committed suicide, like ritualistically, but he was involved in some heavy, like some kind of religion where like the guy wrote these lyrics, and it's really weird, but it is really cool at the same time. I don't get too connected to anything, and so they go to the dark tree. They talk about the anti-cosmic universe. So if there's a cosmos, there has to be an anti-cosmos to counterbalance it. And they think that's where they can, kind of exercise free will and stuff. Which only the person that's dealt with their inner problems can express their free will. Most people today don't have much free will. And if you're going to be the hero on the hero's journey, you have to be able to exercise your free will. So you go through the dark night of the soul, and some people never get past that, and some people do. You never know. I think the singer of this band Dissection actually had a pretty heinous crime that he had something to do with, and he had to go to prison and everything, and I'm not exactly sure what happened. It's a little before my time. I'm just getting into some of these bands now, going back. I've kind of taken the time out to go back and find like all the cool albums and stuff. And personally, anything with like a philosophical, esoteric, kind of lean, I'm usually interested in. And then you still listen to the regular hard bands that are just kind of fun. And so this is another suggestion to listen to, for better or worse. When I was younger, I was scared of all this kind of stuff. I could listen to Metallica, but not Slayer. And now obviously I understand that Slayer's way better than Metallica. Those first few Metallica albums were great, but they kind of fell off a little bit and became kind of more common, which happens. It's all good. And so that is Dissection, Reinkaos, and their whole thing, and they actually go for the Greek, like Latin stuff too, because when you're into this stuff, you almost want to go ahead and learn Latin. I had a chance to with this dude that I met who was teaching a Latin class, and at the time I'm like, well, I should have taken the damn thing, because it's just good to learn. And we're gonna continue with this series and my other series, and hopefully people gain something from it, and check out some new tunes, listen to some new ideas. I kind of reword everything. A lot of my stuff comes from like Eastern mysticism, like Alan Watts. I used to listen to a lot of, even though he kind of fell into like more of a postmodern thing, like just like Jordan Peterson. He's got a lot of good stuff there, but then he kind of digresses into a postmodern thing, which is just as much of a sin to me as this John Nordvik guy. He was trying to get somewhat, what he felt like was enlightenment, and it was probably more enlightening to listen to this album than church. But this is supposed to be evil, so it all comes back to that 3D thought and not getting locked in the duality of good, evil. there's a little bit of the devil in all of us, and there's good. And the original Latin word daemon is, it's kind of your higher self in a way. And then daemons could be like these little spirits that bring information. Excuse me. To you could be like these little creatures, like this shirt. Sometimes when people do hallucinogens, they see the faces. And part of that to me is your subconscious is looking for faces because your animal instincts are trying to look for things that are going to attack you or whatever. And that's part of this album, the whole Kalima thing of the animalistic. These animalistic deities and these animalistic, nature things. And so this is, yet another good listen. Dissection. Reinkaos. Trev out.